If you have a website or an app or some other online platform that you're using for your business, whether you're a real estate professional or not, and they are not ADA compliant, this may be the single most important video that you ever watch. And I'm actually as serious as a heart attack. Here's what you need to know. Hey everyone, my name is Paul Vacheski and welcome to the Real Estate Classroom. Now usually the goal of my videos is to provide real estate professionals with tools and tips to run a more profitable business. But in today's video and today's topic, it's actually more about keeping you guys out of real estate jail. And understand this video applies to any business owner or anyone that operates a website, an app, or some other online platform. So a little history here so you understand exactly what I'm talking about and why you need to basically update your online platforms. The Americans with Disabilities Act was passed in 1990, well before the internet was even really a thing. It requires companies to make their physical locations accessible by those with disabilities. We see this in the form of automatic doors opening up or wheelchair accessible bathrooms or parking spots for the handicapped, those type of things. Now the ADA is starting to be applied to our online platforms, including websites and apps. The courts have been routinely ruling that your online platforms must be accessible by visually and hearing impaired users. So for you, the real estate professional, for you brokers, for anyone who owns a business or operates an online platform such as a website, here's the 50,000-foot view. It is all about online accessibility. And the recent U.S. Supreme Court case has brought clarification to this issue. So here's a little background so you understand the whole Domino's Pizza case. A visually impaired person sued Domino's because he was unable to order food not only on Domino's Pizza's website, but also their mobile app, despite the fact that Domino's Pizza actually had some what we call screen reading software uploaded to those online platforms. It's important to remember that. So they sued in federal court, but the federal district court ruled that the ADA only applied to a company's physical location, not their online platforms. So an appeal was filed, and in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, they reversed that ruling and said, hey, listen, even though the ADA was passed in 1990 and the internet hadn't been born yet, it still applies to online platforms. It requires businesses to make their websites and their apps and other online platforms accessible by those with visual and hearing impairments. So Domino's Pizza appealed that ruling to the United States Supreme Court, and on October 7, 2019, Domino's lost. So as a real estate professional or a business owner, here's really what you need to know. This is a risk management issue. In 2018, there were over 2,200 cases filed against businesses regarding online accessibilities. And in 2019, we're set to double that number. And with the Supreme Court ruling against Domino's, it's really only adding fuel to the fire. So here's the thing. Every real estate company, every real estate agent, every property manager, in fact, every business owner that has a website or an app or some other online platform is a potential target. In fact, I'm going to put a link down below for a news story where one visually impaired plaintiff in Florida sued over 150 companies, including Home Depot, and won. It cost these companies millions of dollars. So the question is, what can you do? And this is very important. There are 5 things you can do. Number 1, don't wait. Start getting your website and your apps and your other online platforms ADA compliant now. Number 2, call your web provider and have them do an accessibility audit and then create a plan to make your online platforms accessible. Number 3, although the Department of Justice in HUD has basically failed to establish any kind of accessibility guidelines, which actually is the real problem to this issue, the courts have kind of stepped in and created their own standards. So First of all, most federal and state agencies have adopted what's called the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. We call this the WCAG, and they apply those guidelines for their own websites and their own apps and their own online platforms. And this is very important because there are a ton of visually impaired software programs out there and WordPress plugins that make your online platforms appear to be WCAG compliant, but they are not. Don't forget, the courts have routinely used the WCAG guidelines as the standard when companies are being sued. So if your software is not WCAG compliant, neither is your online platform, and it's you that are going to suffer the consequences. Number 4, it's a good idea to assume that your web provider has absolutely no idea what the WCAG is, so it's up to you to inform them. It's up to you to provide them with those guidelines. Again, the reason I mention this is because I've seen web builders download software or use plugins to websites that are, quote, for visually impaired or for the hearing impaired, but they're not compliant with the WCAG. And again, your website is not compliant if the software is not WCAG compliant. Ultimately, folks, you are responsible, not the web developer. So don't screw this one up or it's going to cost you big time. Now, I'll put a link down below to the WCAG guidelines down below in the comments section so you can link to it and then provide that to your web provider. Number 5, you must put an accessibility statement on your website just like a terms of use or a privacy statement. It's not an option. The good thing is the National Association of Realtors will actually allow you to cut and paste theirs from their website onto yours. I will provide a link down below in the comments section to NAR's accessibility statement. And if you're looking for some additional cruel and unusual punishment besides this video, I will also place a link to the National Association of Realtors lawyer who did a video essentially saying the same thing that I'm saying in this video. And it's important because I don't want you to think that I'm just making all this stuff up. Now finally, for my property manager friends. So we all know that the sales side of our industry certainly must comply with the ADA requirements. I think we all know that. But you folks, you property managers, you leasing agents, property management companies, you folks have a much bigger target on your back than those in the sales side, just simply by the sheer number of leasing transactions that you do compared to our sales colleagues. So please take this one serious. And I know many of you operate very small property management companies, but it doesn't alleviate your requirement to make sure that your online platforms are compliant with the ADA. So that's all I got for today, folks. I hope you found this video beneficial and informative. And if you have, please do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit the little subscribe button. It's a little red subscribe button and that little notification bell. And certainly, as always, please share this with other friends and colleagues that you might think will benefit from this